Welcome back, guys. So unfortunately this is going to be a little bit of a sucky video. As you guys can see, the Evo is not here, and the reason for it is because it's not outside. Unfortunately, I was involved in a car accident recently and the car got totaled. So let me do a little bit of explanation. So after you guys saw the video with the WK shifter, I got the car all prepped. I installed some the brake cooling ducts. I had this pretty sweet setup where I put them in between the splitter and the gap in the SE bumper with these various pancake ducts that I had cut down. And anyways, I had run 2.5-inch ducts and extra ducts on this side. I had put ARP studs, and then I had put also, luckily, and then you'll realize why later, Sparco QR TR seat that I bought from a local friend of mine, and harnesses and stuff like that. Well, I already had a harness, but I put a new set of harness. So I was getting everything prepped, and then I had filled some of my gas tanks with E85, but then I wanted to have the car also full. So I drove the car to the gas station, which is, I don't know, about 3.5 miles from my house. Okay, it's not too far. And I filled up with gas. I filled up an extra can that I had, and then I started driving back. On the way back, I crossed this intersection. It's a pretty decent sized road, but it's not necessarily a highway, but it is 3 lanes. So let me try to explain it here with some Hot Wheels for my kid. So picture this, 3 lanes, okay? So 3 lanes of traffic. I'm all the way on the left, all right? And I'm coming across an intersection, so there's cars going this way, okay? Now I have a green. I'm all the way on the left. There's a few cars in this area, okay? As I'm crossing the intersection, this gentleman was making a right on red, okay, from this crossroad, okay, which in Florida is legal, it's fine. You're supposed to stop and make sure that nobody's coming, and you're also supposed to turn to the left, to the rightmost lane, okay? But this guy didn't do that. As I was coming here, he decided to cross all the way across to the point where, you know, because of the cars that were over here, I never even saw him, to be honest with you. So I just kind of came this way, and he hit me basically kind of like that. Okay, now there's a big divider here too. All right, there's a big divider here too, dividing, you know, to the other side, this traffic, okay? So he pinned me in between this concrete divider, okay, and his car. And then basically I kind of bounced this way, but he was still here. So he kind of, now there's a little bit of speculation here because this all happened really fast. And anybody that tells you that they know exactly how it happened, it's probably lying or exaggerating. But I think that what happened was when he hit me here, okay, I don't know the exact angle that he hit me at, but he was turning, right? He was meant to, I guess his intent was to turn to this lane, right? So he crossed 3 lanes. That was his intent, right? So he ended up hitting me like this, yeah, at some kind of angle. I don't know if it was like this or like more shallow like this. I'm not sure. Because at this point, all I saw was just a blue thing here. Okay, it was a minivan. So he hit me. I know I hit the sidewalk, but there was really no room between our cars. And then at some point, we kind of ended up like this. He kind of pinballed this way. And I tried to fight the car this way when we were like this. I tried to fight it back this way. I don't know, instinctively. And when I did that, this wheel, the front driver wheel, I think just broke underneath, okay? And the car just did one of these and then slid. And it kind of landed like that. So as you can see, I'll put some pictures and stuff like that. So I made a post on Instagram about this situation, and all I said was that it should be mandatory. This was an 82-year-old guy, okay? And he through conversations with the police and things like that, it seemed that he did not believe that he did anything wrong. Okay, that he didn't understand why he was ticketed. I think he got a few tickets. And he seemed very upset, talking about court and things like that. So to me, it really seemed that he really, really, truly didn't think, and he didn't understand why he did anything wrong. So all I said is I made a little reel on my Instagram, and if you're not following me on Instagram, do so. That's saying that, that I believe that elderly people after a certain age should get retested for their driving test. And it's gotten a ton of views, a few 100,000 views, and a bunch of likes and a bunch of comments. And a lot of people were asking, how did this happen? Or not necessarily how did this happen, but like, how did they know if it was that it wasn't my fault? Or did I really get T-boned? Okay, so I don't know how else to explain this kind of collision. Yes, it's probably not a 100% T-bone, because a T-bone, technically is that, but it's close enough. So I just said basically I got T-boned, right? So people just got hung up on the technicalities. So, from the pictures, you may or may not see that it's a lot of damage. But at the end of the day, the insurance company found almost 20 grand worth of body damage, okay? The frame underneath the car, all the suspension, all the front suspension, all the wheel, both front wheels, the frame on this side, the frame on this side were all not super mangled, but they were mangled. Both lower control arms broke, both axles broke, and then when I landed on the side, okay, the engine was still running. And it took me a good bit to realize that I was on my side. So I started making some funky noises. As you can see in the pictures, all the oil spilled out. So I'm assuming that the engine was bad. I'm assuming that the tranny was bad and the T-case were bad, because both axles were completely mangled and there was just junk stuff everywhere underneath the car. I really could have gotten a lot more hurt. I did sustain some injuries. Luckily I didn't break anything or cut anything, but I do have some internal injuries, which I can't discuss here because of litigation, but I didn't walk out unscathed out of this. People actually had to, when the car was like this, people actually stopped and they helped me hold the door open, and then somebody else pulled over and then put a ladder and then helped me climb out of the car. So I had to literally climb out of the car. Really, the only reason why I think I didn't get more hurt was because I had this seat installed. I literally just installed this seat, okay? And just by dumb luck, when I went to the gas station, I installed this planted seat, okay? This planted seat base. And I wasn't too happy with how high it was, so I removed the sliders and I had basically just mounted it fixed. So I was still kind of fiddling with the exact position of it, okay? And I at that point, I think I was happy with it. But when I drove to the gas station, I was like, you know what? Let me try it with the harnesses and make sure that I am comfortable with the harnesses installed. And I strapped on the harnesses. I didn't fully tighten it, and obviously I wasn't wearing a helmet or a Hans, but I did put my harness on. So when this happened, this window broke. Luckily, the A-pillar didn't really collapse, because I think the car really didn't hit the ground hard. It's not like it went and did like a 360 kind of flip. But when I landed like that, I had nowhere to go. I was just kind of hanging there from the harness in the seat and with the harness holding me. So that's what happened, guys, unfortunately. And everybody said, oh well, yeah, get your parts out of it and salvage it, and that's all easy to say, guys, but at the end of the day, the car had a lot of damage, okay? And for me to be able to to fix it, well, first of all, I would have had a salvage title car, okay, that I would have to sink probably 30 grand into fixing it correctly, because I'm not gonna half-ass it. So, and then I'm left with a car that's worth maybe 10 grand. I mean, I wouldn't pay 10 grand for an old ass Evo 9 that's been all busted up and is rebuilt, you know? So to me, that's a paperweight, you know? So unfortunately, due to the fact that the car was on the side, it went directly to the wreck yard. It went directly to Copart. The only thing that I was able to remove from that was the seat, okay? And I started to try to take out the shifter. I had it somewhere, but they came in, they're like, nope, car needs to stay as is, blah, 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 insurance, you know. So it is what it is. All the work that I had done to the car really just felt to waste. Now, luckily, and this is a lesson for all you guys as well. I had luckily put the car on collector's insurance, on specialty insurance. So I had insurance with Hagerty for an agreed amount. So when they decided they were going to total the car, they just gave me my agreed amount, okay? And I'm a little upside down because of all the work that I had done to the car and then what I had paid for it. I'm a little bit, not like a few $1,000s, not even, okay? To make me 100% whole with what I have in the car and then all the work that I had done to it. And, you know, so I'm going to be able to use that money, you know, either just keep it or to buy another project. So that brings me to my next thing is what should I get for another project? I'm kind of in between 3 or 4 cars, okay? And you guys let me know down in the comments or on my Instagram. Let me know what you guys think. So obviously I could just get another Evo 9, okay? But my wife is not happy. She doesn't want me to get another Evo. So that would be option number 1. Option number 2, I'm also considering a 22, 23 GR86 BRZ twins. Obviously totally different, and very, very slow. I mean, 200 horsepower is going to feel super, super slow. But it is a lighter car with not a whole lot of electronic nannies and things like that. And it's a car that I can tinker, you know, I can work on, maybe eventually turbocharge, and get it to 400 horsepower, which is kind of what I want anyways. I kind of wanted a lighter, slower version of this that is not so expensive to not to track, but also, you know, if something, you know, if you put this onto a wall, then, you know, it's a lot, you know. So, you know, something cheap, light, easy to work on, but something that I can also work on. This is not something that needs a lot of work. This is almost all set up for you to do track days, you know. That's what I'm doing. Anyways, so GR86 BRZ, whatever. S2K, but I think that's too similar to this, and super, super impractical. Very, very old at this point, you know, comparable in all to an Evo, but, you know, for a clean one, they're going for more than Evo money, and they need a ton of work too to get, you know, and they're slow. It's 200 horsepower as well, you know what I mean? I was also considering probably like maybe punching a little bit above and then going for like a Cayman or something like that. I don't know, they're just a lot of money for what you get, you know. I thought about like getting a GT4 instead of this, but then every time that I go to the track, I'll pass 3, 4, 5 of them on one session, you know. Sometimes the same guy, I'll pass him twice, you know, sometimes even 3 times. And then I'm like, yeah, I don't know, you know. So it's just hard. It's hard having, you know, being used to a high power car, right? Also being used to Evos, which are high powered, you know, for what they are. And the handling and the steering feel on the Evo 9 was just incredible. At that point, it was incredible. I had just gotten it realigned. I had just set up the suspension the way I liked it. It was going to be money. and I was on my way to Sebring. The next day, I was gonna be at Sebring the next day. I was literally coming home to load the car on the trailer, and then the next day I was gonna be at Sebring. Yeah, so it's just a gut punch, you know, nobody wants to lose a car like that, and I'm just left reeling with the whole situation and insurance and lawyers and all that crap, you know, it just sucks. But anyways, sorry for ranting. I know this was probably a sucky video, you know, but I just kind of want to put it out there. What happened, a lot of people reached out to me, and I really appreciate everybody that reached out to me with good thoughts and wishes, and I feel really lucky that I walked out of it. And you know, life moves on. So I'm just trying to look at the positive now and then move on from the situation. You know, it is what it is, and when it happened, and I can't change it now. So hopefully on the next video, I'll have some decisions, or I've made a decision, okay, and I'll keep you guys updated. All right, guys, so I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.